Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Terry, and in this video I'm going to take a break from the A Catholic Reads the Unaltered Augsburg Confession, and instead, because Thomas Nelson just came out with a version of the 1611 Bible, I thought I would show some 1611 Bible editions that I've gotten over the years. I don't have that new Thomas Nelson one. I hope to get it soon, but I do have an older version of it that they put out during the 400th anniversary of the 1611 King James Bible back in 2011. I'm gonna try and fix the camera a little bit. There we go. They put out this 2-volume set which contains a King James version of the 1611 and a New King James Bible. So together the set celebrates the King James Bible. If I can remember how to get these books out. Here I'll go. Okay. And it comes in this nice slipcase. It's really good for keeping it. But before I go into this 2-volume set real quick, I want to show you the Hendrickson version that I have. And I feel like the camera keeps moving on me. Sorry to have that light in there. Seems like every time I get this adjusted. Hold on, there we go. That's better. Alright, sorry about that. Anyway, this is the Hendrickson hardcover 1611 I got before the anniversary of the 1611. But this is a 1611 edition. It's like what Thomas Nelson just put out. In fact, I think theirs is just a reprint of this, because this does not have the genealogies, but it has all the other stuff from the 1611, and it is that same more modern typeface where it's the Roman font. And this is what this is a reprint of the 1833 Scribner King James Bible. It has the Apocrypha, what we Catholics call the Deuterocanonicals. Here's the title page. And then, the neat thing they did is they reproduced the original 1611 title page. And then here's the copyright page, where it gives a few different editions. This is the bonded leather hardcover. And there were 3 genuine leather editions, black, burgundy, and brown. And this was printed in the United States of America. And this contains an article on the earlier English translations, and then from there it's all the stuff that was in the 1611 Bible except the genealogies. I'm going to skip all that stuff and go to right where the genealogies would have been. The genealogies would have been right after this calendar stuff and right before the table of contents, and then it goes straight into Genesis. So as you can see, it's a 2-column text, but then in both the inner and outer margins, it gives alternate translations of phrases or words. So it's not study notes because of the controversy with the Geneva Bible. So it's more, it also sometimes gives you cross-references. So it's, in some ways it's kind of a reference Bible, but it's more of a reading Bible. Now I'll move on to the Thomas Nelson one. And the words of Jesus are in black because the red letter thing didn't happen until the beginning of the 1900s. End of the 1800s, beginning of the 1900s. I'll go to this New King James in a few minutes too. But it came with this 400th anniversary booklet for this Thomas Nelson set that goes through the history of the King James Bible, why it happened and all that. But then here's the cover Here, I'll compare covers here. Here's Thomas Nelson's 400th anniversary 1611 King James, and it says 400th anniversary edition right there. And here's the Hendrickson one. Hendrickson did come out with a 400th anniversary one of this, which added just like the 400th anniversary logo right there. So you can see they're slightly different in size. I'm holding it where the bottoms are level. Instead of an ISBN on the back, it has just the item number or style number or whatever. This one has gilded page edges, whereas the Hendrickson has white page edges. This one has 2 ribbon markers. The Hendrickson has no ribbon marker. Now, I don't remember if this had the genealogies in it or not, but it's got really nice end pages. It's a textured brown end pages. It is a paste down liner. Here's what the presentation pages look like in it. Hold on, turn it. Okay. Here is their title page. Very similar looking to what we just showed. This one was printed in China, and again, a reproduction of the original title page. And then it goes right into the epistle dedicatory to King James. Then after that, we have translator to the reader. So in this one, we do not have that essay on the English translations of the Bible. So after translators to the reader, it goes right into the calendar. An explanation of the calendar. Sorry, it's hard. Here we go. Here's the explanation of the calendar. Trying to turn. Next page is the table of lessons, but here we go. Here's the table of lessons, which is the daily readings. So like if you're using it with a prayer book. And then after that, you go to the table of contents in Genesis. So this one does not have the genealogies, at least not in the front of the Bible. It's verse by verse like we're used to for King James Bibles. It's got drop caps. Just the Hendrickson one is exactly the same as this. It's just this is a slightly bigger page. Trying to get to the Apocrypha or Deuterocanicals. Here we go. I'll go to the title page of that. Hold on. It starts with first Esdras. Yeah, here we go. End of Malachi. And then here's the first page of the Apocrypha, and it's first Esdras. And then after that, trying to turn carefully to get to the New Testament. Okay. After Second Maccabees, then we get the New Testament, and they reprinted the title page to the New Testament. The Hendrickson one does that too. This has got like really neat detail in here, like the 12 apostles, and something else. I'm trying to remember what the other thing is. Oh, at the top, it's got God's name in Hebrew, the Tetragrammaton. And then we get into the book of Matthew. And then, let's see, I don't think there's anything after the book of Revelation. Here's the book of Revelation. I used to have Zondervan's 400th anniversary edition, but I sold it because it didn't have the Apocrypha. But it did have the Gothic font that the 1611 originally had. And so that's it. The last page of the book of Revelation. Now, like I said, there's this booklet on the 400th anniversary, which is really neat to read. It's like a 15-20 page booklet. But then they also included this New King James, which is really neat. It's got the same kind of fancy cover, and it's got the raised hubs on the spine, which the Hendrickson did not have raised spines, but it has like an indentation where those would be. Now, this New King James has that same kind of end paper. It's brown. It's a paste down, just like the KJV. It's got a similar type of presentation page. But then it has a normal New King James Bible title page. And here's the copyright page. Copyright 1982. Reading plans, copyright 2010. Interior design and typesetting by Blue Huron Bookcraft, Battle Creek, Washington. Printed in China. This is the first printing from 2010. And here's the table of contents. No deuterocanicals in this one. It's got extra stuff. It's got read your Bible through in a year, 30 days with Jesus, 90-day overview of the Bible, passages for the Christmas season, passages for Easter season, and a concordance to the NKJV. It's got the introduction to the New King James, which explains the Bible translation philosophy and all that. And it even acknowledges the 1611 King James. And then we get to the Old Testament, but here's what's cool, is it's a single column New King James Bible. So that is really neat. It makes for a really good reading experience. And then I didn't get there yet. And this one has two skinny ribbon markers, just like that 1611 King James I just showed you. I want to go to Psalms, so you can see how the Psalms are. They're laid out in poetry, but it's single column. And I don't remember if this is a red letter Bible. I haven't pulled it out in a while. Okay, here's the beginning of the Gospel of Matthew. There is a title page for the New Testament. And here's the title page for the New Testament. But let's see if this is red letter, because I don't know. This is a black letter New King James, because here is chapter 6, which is the middle chapter of the Sermon on the Mount. So it is a black letter text. And then after the book of Revelation is where those extra features are. Here's how the New Testament letters look. So, Book of Revelation. Just gotta turn the page. Here we go. Here's the end of the Book of Revelation right here. And it's got the full footnotes from the New King James. Here's the Read the Bible in a Year plan. It's 3 columns. And it covers 2 pages. Then 30 Days with Jesus. And then 90-day overview of the Bible. Each of those are a page each. Passages for Christmas, which there's just a few. Passages for Easter, which there's a lot. And then the New King James Concordance, 3 columns. The word you open up is in bold. It's not an exhaustive concordance, but it's a really good one. And I don't remember if there's maps. Map W's. No, there is no maps. Because I only have one more page, if I can turn it. Here's the last page of the concordance, and then it's back to the end papers, and it's done. It's a really nice set. I do hope to get that new Thomas Nelson 1611 1611 KJV Bible. But yeah, this is a really cool set. It comes in this really nice box. There's no ISBN on the box. But what it says on the cover is Holy Bible. And then there's a crown. And then it says 1611 King James and New King James Version 400th Anniversary Box Set. And it says the same thing on this side too. It'd be nice if they would have made this available on its own, because I think this little booklet is good reading for people who want to know the history of the King James Bible. Hendrickson, they have that history, the essay in here of the history of the English translations of the Bible. So that's really good too. Hendrickson, I think, still has some editions of this available on christianbook.com, but I'm not sure. I know that Amazon has at least one of them, because I was looking at one the other day when I was on Amazon. Here's how I usually put them back in the box. I put the New King James in first, then I put this booklet in, and I put the KJV in. And it goes in just fine. And here's what the spines look. And it looks awesome on the shelf like that, which is how I have it displayed on my shelves. I do have a bookmark in here, in the Hendrickson one. Here's what the Book of Jonah looks like. It's got those drop caps. It's just a slightly smaller page than the Thomas Nelson I just showed you. This one has some blank pages after, like about 10 pages of blank paper after the biblical text. So there is some pages in the back if you wanted to take notes. There's like 10 pages right here of blank Bible paper, just regular Bible paper. I'll show you what that essay looks like. Brown. This is a smooth brown end papers. And if I didn't say before, this Hendrickson one is paste down. Here's what the presentation page in this one looks like. It's just white and very simple. But the 400th anniversary one looks a little fancier. I had that one, but I had the one without deuterocanicals, and the cover was a different color. It was more of a brown than burgundy. This is more of a burgundy. Whatever. But they were both listed as being brown in their copyright or copyright page. Okay. Bibliographical introduction, the earlier English translations, 1380 to 1582 is where it starts. It's got a drop cap. It's got a little bit of a margin with occasionally a notes. Like here, this note tells you it's going to start out by talking about with the Wycliffe Bible. And then Coverdale's Bible. I think I skipped Tyndale. Yeah, I did. Yeah. The second page, it starts at the bottom of the second page, it starts talking about Tyndale's New Testament. It goes through all the way, I think, to the Hampton Court Conference, the Bishop's Bible, and then it's got a table of the early English translations. Some of these are very early, but some of these that are mentioned here are like in the earliest format English, and then some are in Middle English, and then we get more closer to the King James Bible. All right. Well, they even talk about the Reams New Testament, which is a translation from Latin into English. It's the New Testament for the Dewey Reams translation. The New Testament came out first. Then in 1609, I think, is when the Old Testament came out. And then here it gives information on the 1611 King James. And then it gives you a chart of the translators. Both the Oxford and Westminster companies, as well as the rules they were under, like Rule 1, the ordinary Bible read in the church, commonly called the Bishop's Bible, to be followed and as little altered as the truth of original will permit. 6. The 6th rule, no marginal notes at all to be affixed, but only for the explanation of the Hebrew or Greek words, which cannot without some circumlocution so briefly and fitly be expressed in the text. So, and they didn't obey every single rule. And then it goes through a history of the translation process. And then a section on the publication of it. And then you get to the epistle dedicatory. And like I said, this one doesn't have the genealogies either. And I think pretty much all the Thomas Nelson one did is take out the essay and reprint this, which is basically the same thing as the Thomas Nelson one in this set. So that is that. So hopefully that'll at least give you some idea of some of the 1611 editions that are out. When this was out, when this was originally out, if I remember right, I paid around $25 for this, I think. This set was, I want to say 50 or 60, because it's, you know, the 2 volumes. It's 2 volumes. It's the anniversary edition, and it's got that booklet and the fairly hard slipcase. So that's what I thought I would talk about today. I hope everybody's having a wonderful week, and I will see you in the next video. And for whatever reason, my tripod hasn't been locking right, so sorry if the camera moved around a bit during this video. I will see you in the next video.